Hello, welcome to another Leslie Davis Earth Protector Show. Here with me is Hollywood Burns.
How you doing?
Also known as Kelvin Burns. Hey, we went over so much in the last show that we used up all the stuff I had. So we got some new stuff for today. But like I mentioned to you, and you kind of frowned on it, that I thought meditation would be something good that you ought to try. And we may talk about it on the show professionally, not me. I'm just kind of a beginner at it.
Right.
But you know about meditation to calm people down, and it's a real healthy thing to do. It only takes 5 or 10 minutes, but you kind of think it for sissies or something, meditation.
Well, meditation's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Big stuff. Because they say you got these points in your body, what they call the chakras.
Right.
And it's like the holes in a flute. If you got the holes in the flute plugged up, you can't play pretty music and all. But if you got the holes cleared, and ready to go, and you're blowing them clearly, that's like the chakra points on your body.
Okay.
And your spine and your solar plexus and your heart and so on.
I see that you got your Earth Protector shirt on.
I got the Earth Protector shirt, but I'm going to have to figure out which one we're going to send to the Melanix up in Michigan. The black one or this tie-dye one? I'd have to...
Well, maybe we'll send half and half.
Half and half. That's up in Detroit, Michigan, where Kelvin is from. There's a bunch of brothers up there that call them the Melanix. And what I learned about Melanix has to do with your skin tone, your color.
People with melanin.
Melanin.
Melanin, right. The word melanic, melanin, melanix.
So
melanin.
all people of color have that.
But have melanin, right.
Have melanin. Some larger or lesser degrees, right?
Exactly.
How come that has to do with their birth or something?
Well, it's in the blood, melanin, melatonin, melanin,
melanin. It's in the blood, okay.
Right.
And it manifests itself in the color of your skin?
Well, some people produce more melanin than others.
Uh-huh. And it darkens or lightens your skin?
Well, it darkens at a point.
So these brothers up in Michigan, these 7 guys, are they all dark like you, or they're different shades?
Well, we're in different shades.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, different shades of brothers.
Okay.
But it's actually more than 7, but it was 7 that was interested in the Earth Protector program.
Okay. So what are they doing, these 7 guys? They're working, they get jobs, and...
Well, we got one brother by the name of Doc X. He's running the Melanix chapter over on the west side. And then you have a brother by the name of I-Man. He's running the one on the east side. Okay.
So people support them. They're financed like you would any other organization, right?
Right. We put in dues. We're not sponsored by the government. We get no funding from the government. We just put in dues, and they help around the Detroit, Michigan area. Serving food.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
You think they'll come down here one of these days?
I could get them to come, the Melanix, and maybe we can talk about some things.
I have to think about that. How we'll get along or something. They get along with white folks.
Well, they got a lot of white supporters.
They have white supporters.
Right, they have white supporters. I'd like to give a shout out to the Melanix if that was all right.
Okay, I'll give
I
them
see
a
a lot
shout
of
out.
Melanix. Be strong out there.
Yeah, because we need all the help we're going to get. When come time to war, when I had the Korean War and the Vietnam War, they didn't ask anybody whether you're this or that. Come on, help fight the war and so on, and use them. And a lot of them got killed. Went over to Vietnam. There were companies and battalions and platoons of black people, African or colored people. In the Second World War and the wars. They use them for that.
Well, back to the Melanix, like I was saying, a lot of people think that they're a hate group, but these guys help out black, white, they pass out food. It's not a hate group at all. It's been,
Well, I don't know who calls them a hate group. I never heard anybody talk about them until I heard you talk about them.
What the Michigan State Penitentiary calls them a hate group.
Oh.
And they're not a hate group.
Uh-huh.
In fact, a lot of them not even allowed to practice their religion in the Michigan
Oh,
State
is that where they
Penitentiary.
come out of the penitentiary? Is that where they
Well,
originate?
It started inside the walls of Jackson. A guy by the name of Fadi, and then a guy by the name of Colleen Oglesby came up with his branch of the Melanic. There's two branches: the Melanic Palace of the Rising Sun and the Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun. One is just the Melanic
Well, I
Palace
don't like
of
it
the Rising
Islam.
Sun.
I don't like it when it says
But I was-
Islamic anything. I'm not a Islamic supporter.
Well, Islamic's no evil than Christianity.
I don't know about that.
Now I'm gonna tell you why. Those whites that came over here, they slaughtered a bunch of Native Americans. They slaughtered a bunch of blacks. One religion is no better than the other.
Yeah, well, I know they did a lot of bad things. Well, you know, up until not long ago, they used to kill witches for hundreds of years.
Well, how
kill-
about when America dropped a bomb on Oklahoma, killing up black soldiers? That happened in Oklahoma. That's an act
Where?
of terrorism.
At that building, you mean?
Oklahoma.
When they blew up that office building?
They killed some black people in Oklahoma. They killed. How about Rosewood in Florida when they burnt up all them black people? Because some white woman said a black man raped her.
Yeah.
So I'm saying is Christianity is no better than Islam.
I won't disagree with that.
Murder is murder, and terrorist is terrorist. And they terrorized a lot of black people over here and slaughtered a lot of Native Americans. But don't nobody want to talk about that.
But I wouldn't expand on it now that we know about it. You know, I wouldn't.
Right.
Well, so what do you think about what Donald Trump says about not bringing in, not letting the Islamic people from those countries come in?
I'm going to say this. In the Detroit, Michigan area, you have a big population of Arabs.
Of Islamics?
Yes. And I'm going to say this, and I had to tell the truth. Arabs are very disrespectful to black women and black men, and they show accrued hate also. Okay? It was a guy got killed because he told these Arabs to leave his 12-year-old daughter alone. This happened like, I think, 1999. And Arabs are very disrespectful in the black community.
You know, it's hard to imagine that 1999 was already 17 years ago.
Right, but
the time-
they've done a lot of bold stuff in the black community.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about time passing really fast.
Right, and also people like to talk about what white people done to black people, but people look like they give the Arabs a pass. Arabs had black people in slavery before white people
I
did.
never in my life did a bad thing to a black person.
Okay,
When I went into the Army,
right,
my platoon sergeant Edwards was a black man. When I
Right.
was in Arizona, my bunkmate was Robert Peters. He was a black man. When I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, the handyman that came to our house was a black man. Loved Hagen Haig Pinstrom.
right,
Loved little shot of whiskey. So I've always got our factory that my dad owned. We had black people, Puerto Rican people from the islands, all kinds of people, as many as 50 sometimes in the 50
Right.
in the busy season. So I don't take any blame or any responsibility for any type of prejudice or bigotry or any of that stuff that they claim people home, whether they're Jewish or white or American. So I'm clean, and I take my credit for that. And I say, well, we all share. I don't share any of that. I don't share any blame for any victim. Maybe I could have done more or can do more. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to do stuff. I got my little brochures that I'm working on for the campaign. But you know, they don't, when they have these political campaigns and speeches, they don't let me get my word out. They don't let me talk about the issues, the money, where the money comes from, and the fluoride and the education, hold the line on taxes, end the fuel tax, legalize cannabis. You know, this cannabis thing, they're legalizing it bit by bit, state by. They should do that federally. It should be the federal government should take over and legalize all the cannabis, the marijuana.
right.
You know, and because it's good for the people, it's healthy, but the pharmaceutical companies block it.
Right.
So that's what I want to do, hold the line on taxes, end fluoridation, support legalization of cannabis and marijuana. People calling in, we're getting calls.
Well, yeah, people calling
They're
in.
calling in on the show, they want to know something. They want to know, if you want to call person, because this is going to be Leslie Davis' campaign, because I took it in the chops so hard last night about calling the guys that attacked me in Hennepin County. They work for the Allied Barton private cop company.
Okay.
So, and there were 3 different ones. I call them these colored goons. And my lawyer sent me back a note. He just went crazy, you know. He said, that's a racist. I said, you calling me a racist? Because I called those goons that attacked me sitting on a bench, an old man sitting on a bench after using the bathroom, and those colored goons attacked me, and I call them colored goons. What is it you're unhappy about, calling them colored or goons, or putting the 2 words together? But he didn't like that. He said, say anything, you know, call them African American or Negro. I said, no, I call them colored. They called them colored people when I was a kid. I grew up.
Right, but the thing is,
I call them
I
colored
keep
people.
telling people we're not colored.
Huh?
We're not Negroes.
Yeah, so
We're not none of that.
well, so what are you going to call them? Moors or something? Or going to call them
What they-
Moors or Israelite?
We're just black, but we are Hebrew Israelites. I know that for a fact, no doubt in my mind.
All the people of color are Hebrew Israelites?
These ones over here in North America.
One of the tribes.
One of the 12 tribes.
Uh-huh.
These blacks over here in America is. Everybody black is not an Israelite.
You know, there was a big fuss when it came to bringing in the Ethiopians into Israel. There was some fussing about that. Well, they went over to Ethiopia, and they've got Torah scrolls. The Ethiopian people in remote places where they didn't have contact with other people. They've got Torah scrolls.
But those Jews, not just from Ethiopia, there's only certain ones from Ethiopia that are Jews.
Yeah, I guess.
These blacks over here are
Yeah.
Jews, and they know that in America, and they kept it hid. They tried to keep it hid. Now, to be chosen, there had to be something special about you. Ethiopians are not as special as black Americans. You won't find no blacks like these nowhere in the world. So to be chosen, you had to be something special about you. And if we was to judge marriage between black Americans and Ethiopians, we lead them by a long shot. Ethiopians don't have nothing on a black American. In fact, most Ethiopians are not Israelites. It's certain ones that's Israelites, but they're not Israelites. Black people over here in North America are the tribe of Judah.
They brought plane loads of Ethiopians into Israel.
Yeah, but those not
So
really,
the-
a lot of those are not Jews.
Yeah.
These Jews, these black people over here are Jews.
Uh-huh.
Not
Those
not
guys-
Ethiopian. What's special about an Ethiopian? Everybody mimic us, black Americans. Everybody mimic us.
You know, I mentioned to you about those guys that are on the corner in downtown Minneapolis.
Okay, those are Hebrew Israelites, but the thing about them, they just preach the Bible all day. They're not building nothing.
Get taught to stand
You
there
got to build something.
Yeah. They're kind of, they could be a little ornery. I don't know.
Well,
you know,
the
but,
thing with them, they preach these scriptures, and you got to do more than just preach scriptures. You got to
Yeah.
own something.
they're
You got to
very,
have a
they're,
bank.
They're very rigid. They're
Yeah,
very
but the only
stern.
thing they can go from is the Bible, and the Bible been played with. The Bible is a good book, but it had to be dissected. We weren't allowed to read the Bible for about 300 or 400 years, so they could put what they wanted in the Bible. The Bible is not. You can't take that for full value. The Quran either, and it's a fairy tale in all these religions. I call them fairy tale books. Fairy tale.
Yeah. Well, they can't really tell you who wrote them and when they wrote them.
They want to say they was inspired by God.
Yeah.
But to me, like I say, I'm gonna say this about both religions, Islam and Christianity. The Islam talk about 71 virgins after you die, and the Christians talk about the streets of gold. Everybody talk about life after death. I can stand 71 virgins now, and I can stand the streets of gold now. I want my gold now, and I want my 71 virgins now. Why I gotta wait till I die before I can get all this? So both of them, one is no better than the other. They're always talking about life after death. I need something right now.
So maybe I'll talk about my book instead. The book, because I wrote my own book. I don't call it the Bible, but it's true. It's all facts in here and stuff. And this is the book that I wrote about Jesse Ventura.
Okay.
This to write this book and get it distributed cost $20,000. Numbers up there, and I'll send you a copy of the book, and I'll pay for the postage. Because you're hearing a lot about Jesse Ventura. He writes books, but he can't write. He hires guys. They write the book, and he puts his name on it and goes out and talks about the subject.
Okay.
He don't write the book. He's not an author. I'm an author.
Right.
So he now wrote a book about marijuana, and he's out there promoting marijuana. But when he was a governor, we marched on his mansion saying, "Hey, Jesse, what you got? Come on out and smoke some pot." And he was hiding away in the mansion on Summit Avenue.
Okay.
He wouldn't come out, that chicken shit.
I liked his other book,
He was a chicken shit all his life. I'll get you some of those.
The Constitutional Laws.
Yeah.
The Morris Americans speak about the constitutional laws.
Uh-huh.
And it's a book that everybody should have, black, white, no matter what color you are, the
Absolutely.
constitutional laws.
Absolutely.
The Morris Americans talk about that.
Yeah. Well, because the Constitution is what the country was built on, you know, the right to bear arms, free speech, First Amendment, free speech, you'd be able to say what you want to say when you want to say it. Nobody can take that right to do that away from you, and you could sue them. But you know, I've been to court the last few months. I got these lawsuits going on about being hurt and all of that kind of stuff. It's just terrible. It takes so long to get anything done.
Right.
So we got a few things. I'm a trained person, and I'm experienced, and I'm ready to be governor. I'm working on merging these little brochures that I have into one. So I've been carrying them around with me, reading them up so that I'll have a piece of printed literature.
You ever thought about running for mayor?
It's too small a job for me. The governor is the one that puts the people in the job. The governor, there's only 50 governors. In my opinion, there's 51 good jobs in America. The 50 governors and the President of the United States.
Okay.
Those are the guys write the checks, appoint the people, Department of Health and Transportation and Human Services.
Okay.
That's the job that I want. I don't want to be a mayor or what. Podunk, Minneapolis, kissing ass up to the ballpark, and some said, "Oh, we can get the Super Bowl in 2018." And we're already working on that. They got people spending money. People are going to come here and rent their apartments to people that are going to come here for the Super Bowl. So, you know, they could charge, you got a nice apartment, you could charge $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a night.
Yes,
for
you
an
could.
apartment.
Yes, you could.
And they're going to run that crap for 10 days, that Super Bowl week or Super Bowl 10 days. That's really going to be annoying for that stuff. People are so shallow, you know. It's just a football game. It's just another football game. And those guys get hurt so bad.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a lot of people talk about how much money these football players get, and they really give up their life for it. They get this